Is Trump worse than Hitler?
You know what? He might be. He might be.
Is Trump as bad as Hitler?
Yes, and he shits his pants, except Hitler didn't shit his pants. Hitler didn't wear adult diapers.
He's a fascist.
You keep saying that, but you don't seem to know what fascism means. So I would recommend reading a history book and maybe stop watching CNN. But thank you so much. All right, good. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Matt Miller with JayWalk Media. Today we're here in New York City at Madison Square Garden where Trump's having a massive rally. We're asking these protesters here, is Trump really as bad as Hitler like so many Democrats and so many in the media have said? Even Kamala Harris recently compared him to Hitler. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, Hitler killed 6 million Jews. You think Trump is worse than him?
He allowed 500,000 people to die of COVID. If Biden didn't come in there in 2021, you think more people would not die here in America through COVID because of his negligence?
He downplayed the coronavirus. 500,000 people died as a result. What do you call that?
Trump actually expedited the vaccine development. That was his
I
project.
am going to repeat what I just said. He purposefully downplayed the virus. 500,000 people that year died as a result of that. What do you call it? I could say I see more similarities as Kamala does. Thank you.
So that's comparable to Hitler? Why is it a Nazi rally? We're JayWalk journalists.
It doesn't matter. If you are following Hitler's playbook, if you are if you're like actually saying that Hitler did some good things, and if you're actually following his playbook and using the same language and terminology he did, then you're probably a Nazi. And I just think people should know what they're attending. And what's lovely is when we walk by them, they were taking pictures with it because they do know.
Okay. So do you think Trump is comparable to Hitler? Is he as bad as Hitler?
He's not as smart as Hitler, but he's got a lot of people around him that are probably intelligent enough and evil. So yeah, it becomes dangerous. And I think it's well documented. And asking us that feels like you haven't been like paying attention.
What is the definition of fascism? Do you know?
No, see now. No, this is the language that y'all start using, that MAGA people start using.
The definition?
Yeah. You start walking up and you're gonna try to like pick shit apart and stuff. And this is yes.
It's like a very straightforward question. You're saying fascism.
It's actually not a straightforward question. It's a loaded question that is your playbook, your MAGA playbook. I'm done.
You're gonna call Trump fascist? Okay. What's that?
They had a Nazi rally at the old Madison Square Garden in 1939.
They got Rangers games too.
The biggest Nazi rally in American history.
Okay.
And Hillary Clinton has said this, it made some allusion to the fact that this is sort of a reimagining or a second coming of that Nazi.
Are the Rangers Nazis?
Pardon me?
Are the New York Rangers Nazis? Because they play here.
Yeah. I don't think everybody who plays in a venue is a Nazi just because there was a Nazi rally occurred there.
There you go then. So Trump's having his event here. How is he liking the Nazis because of that?
Well, because he's espoused a lot of fascist ideology.
Like what?
Like turning America's military on American citizens who he doesn't agree with, arresting his opponents and jailing them, or
they've arrested him.
Building concentration camps for the immigrants that he doesn't like.
You need to, I think you need to do some research.
Calling U.S. soldiers suckers and losers, and people who don't.
That's been debunked. Like, that's not even. You got to do some more updated research, or maybe stop watching CNN because none of that is true.
He's a fascist.
How is he a fascist? What is the definition of fascism?
That's what the person who worked for him longest and knows him best said of him.
What is the definition of fascism?
Take the word of all the people who have worked for him.
Do you know what fascism means? Can you give me just a basic definition? What is fascism?
Well, it's pretty complicated, but I'm talking
Very
about,
simple.
I'm talking about the ideology of the Germans used fascism. The rise of dictator.
The National Socialist. You think Trump's a National Socialist?
I think I just take the word of the people who worked for him and were closest to him. It's not for me to. I'd never worked for him. I don't know, but if you're listening to people who work for him, they say he's a fascist.
You keep saying that, but you don't seem to know what fascism means. So I would recommend reading a history book and maybe stop watching CNN. But thank you so much. Excuse me. Can we ask you a question?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, you were talking to me earlier.
Go home.
I thought, well, pretty soon we are. We're getting hungry.
Go home now. Bye-bye.
Pretty soon, pretty soon.
Thank you. Go home.
Okay. Is Trump a fascist?
I say yes, because he's denied the election results when they were very clear.
What is the definition of fascism? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know the definition of fascism, but it's somebody who is a dictator, to describe it. It's somebody who's taking unparalleled power.
If you're a wine lover, you got to hear about one of the best kept secrets in the world of wine. Our amazing sponsor for this video, Bonner Private Wines Partnership. Imagine enjoying a glass of wine that comes from some of the highest altitude vineyards on earth, 6,000 to 9,000 feet in the Andes Mountains of Argentina. At that altitude, the grapes endure conditions that create intense flavors like blackberry, leather, and a touch of dark cherry. The best part? These wines are untouched by the additives and high sugar content that you'll find in wines at the grocery store or Walmart. No dyes, no artificial flavors, just small batch natural wine created by small family producers. And here's the thing, the region where these wines come from makes them very difficult to get and very rare, but Bonner Private Wines Partnership has cracked the code, making these exclusive wines available to you without a big industry markup. Right now, my viewers can get $25 off their first order when they join, as well as complimentary shipping. All you have to do is visit bonnerprivatewines.com/JayWalk, link in the description. This is a great offer for a great product you will not want to miss out on. Check it out. Now back to the video. Do you think Trump is comparable to Hitler? Is he as bad as Hitler?
I don't know.
Do you think he's a fascist based on this?
I think he has fascist tendencies. I agree with General Mark Milley and General John Kelly, who both worked with him and both said he was.
Can you give me like an example of that? What do you think a fascist tendency that he has?
Saying he wants to be a dictator on day one, saying he's going to pursue his enemies, that anybody that disagrees with him.
Can you define fascist?
Anti-democratic.
What's the definition of fascist?
To you.
Well, I mean, it has an actual definition, right?
What is it?
State control of the private sector and ultra-nationalism.
Do you find that Trump is an ultranational?
No. I think he's like a patriotic, nationalist American. I don't think he's asking people to like die for the state like Hitler did or something, for example, or Mussolini.
So you don't think he'd ask anybody to, say, storm the Capitol?
Nope.
You don't think?
No, I think people did that, but they did it themselves. He didn't ask them to do it.
Right. So when he said,
Peacefully, patriotically.
we're going to march down to the Capitol, I'm going to be with you, that wasn't him asking them to do that?
He asked them to peacefully protest at the Capitol, and patriotically, peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the transcript, you should Google the definition of fascism, I think. Thank you. What is the definition of fascist?
What's the definition of a fascist?
What is the definition of fascism?
Someone, first of all, it's a marriage between corporate power and uncontrolled, undemocratic power. Yeah.
You know what? You're the only one who knew it. We just asked like.
No, there's a lot more to it than that.
You're the only one who knew the definition.
No, that's a very superficial definition.